Hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn Ayala. I'm an artist, but most importantly, I am the ArtBridge Outreach Program Coordinator for the Daw Center for the Arts. The Daw Center for the Arts is our local community arts and culture center here in downtown Pomona. We are currently closed to the public, but we do have an online presence, and you can check us out at dawcenter.org or look us up on Instagram and Facebook. All right, today I'm going to walk us through creating our own vision boards of our neighborhoods and what we imagine they'll be like post-COVID. But first, as inspiration, I'm gonna take us on a brief walk around my neighborhood here in downtown Pomona. Let's get started. Welcome to Pomona. We're starting at the downtown Pomona Metrolink station. It is on the Riverside line for all you train goers. It takes you right into the heart of downtown Pomona. As we walk on down this pathway, we're going to be looking at some cool features in the downtown area that I often walk by. Here we have Sean Diamond Plaza, where pre-COVID we had a lot of outdoor music and events. It is also where one of the most recognizable murals of Pomona resides. It is titled Pomona Envisions the Future. You can't visit our downtown area without noticing this beautiful mural. As we continue walking, we're going to go left, and you'll see a lot of community businesses. We're going to take a brief pause at the corner just so that I can point out that Pomona has two main walkways of its outdoor pedestrian mall. The Antique Row, with a lot more amazing shops and restaurants, and the Arts Colony, where I spend most of my time and will be most of what you are seeing with me today. Let's zoom up the street now so that I can share with you one of my favorite city landmarks. This is the Fox Theater. The Fox Theater showed its first film in 1931. It is on the corner of Gary Avenue and 3rd Street. It was solely a mainstream film house until 1976 and has since evolved into a multi-use venue, from showing concerts to hosting wrestling matches. Some of the city's finest parties have been thrown at the Fox Theater. All right, let's zoom down this way on 3rd Street. And you're going to notice that when you visit downtown Pomona, there's a lot of art all around us. Here we have the Daw Center for the Arts and City of Pomona's latest project, Barriers of Beauty, where local artists were able to paint one of these road barriers to help beautify our lovely city even more. You'll also notice that there's a lot of art and some unique spaces for the public to enjoy. One of those spaces is on the corner of Main and 3rd Street. Right now, there is a show for the public by Tamis Laguna called You Are the Miracle, and it's hosted by 3rd Street Gallery. As we zoom around the corner, we're coming to my favorite space in the downtown area. That's the Daw Center for the Arts. The Daw Arts Center has been a nonprofit community arts and culture center since 1984. We strive for inclusive, accessible, and equitable arts and cultural experiences for our local community. Let's zoom again up the street, going by some more awesome stores and this long white wall that will soon host a brand new mural by East Low Streetscapers. I'm going to slow down and take a pause here to point out all of these art boards you see on the building across the way and on the right side posted to the fences. These are outdoor projects put on by the Alley Gallery to further promote local artists and bring more art to the public. As my walk is coming to an end, there are so many amazing locally owned businesses here and so much art to take in. I hope you get a chance to come visit us and enjoy the space as much as we do. Thank you for taking this walk with me, and I hope it's brought some inspiration for the project we're about to start. Welcome to my art station. As we're getting ready to create, go ahead and grab a piece of paper and any art supplies that you have around your house. I have here a pencil, eraser, markers, crayons, watercolors, a cup of water, and a napkin. Before we get started, take a moment to visualize your neighborhood and what it looks like. The sidewalks, the trees and birds, the buildings. What are some of your favorite memories of your neighborhood? Now that you have your neighborhood in mind, try to pick out some of the more memorable parts of it, and let's reimagine them onto our paper. To start, I'm going to do a quick sketch of 5 chosen memories from my neighborhood walk. First, the beautiful pink tree outside the metro station. Second, a car from the DA Art Center sign. Third, the Sean Diamond Plaza venue area. Definitely take your time sketching out your memories or future memories you hope to make in your neighborhood. My fourth memory is the palm tree from 3rd Street. And fifth and finally, a face mask. When your sketch is finished, it's time to color. First, I'll start with my pink tree, using a brown marker to outline the trunk of it. I always found that markers are great for creating bold lines, making a simple tree pop out more. To make my tree look even more real, I'm going to add lines going in different directions. By doing this, I'm adding texture to my tree and making it look fuller. This technique is actually called hatching. Hatching is when you use parallel lines to create the visual effect of depth and shading. For the head of my tree, I'm going to show how far out my tree's flowers go by outlining these curved lines I made in my sketch. This way my tree looks more like it's in motion, like my tree is blowing in the wind. And of course, I'll outline my sprinkled flower petals as well. This way there's some details in the tree to indicate the pinkness of my tree's flowers in bloom. Plus, it's a bit easier than having to do like 1,000 small flowers everywhere. Once I've outlined everything with the marker, I'm going to take my eraser and erase the pencil for a cleaner look. Doing this helps me see my lines more clearly, and don't worry if you've sketched too darkly. Try your best, and then remember more color will be added to cover up any leftovers. My favorite part comes next, and that's filling in with color. For the most part, I'm going to color in the tree bark with my brown crayon. But a tree trunk has many different shades of colors in it, so I'm going to add in some red on one side of my tree's trunk and branches, just to get some deeper tones in there. And on the other side, I'm going to use orange to give it a brighter color like the sun is on that side of the tree. It's always good to think about where your light source is coming from, but on a free color like today, not necessary. When it comes to my tree's head, I'm going to color it in pink and violet. First, I'll fill in the petals of the flowers that are spread throughout, switching between pink and violet ones. Then I'll color the entire head in pink. This will just give me a good base color to show that the entire head of my tree is filled with pink flowers. Then I'll take my violet and start adding curved lines throughout, just to give my trees this swaying in the wind feels. Sometimes when we're creating, it's not just about how something looks, but about the feeling we want to relay. It was a beautiful day, and I want to show that with the colors I'm choosing and the ways I'm coloring. Also, there are so many ways that you can make a tree, and I just want to give you some ideas of how to go about creating. I'm going to move on to my next memory, the car. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my pink tree and outline my car in marker and then fill it in with crayon. Although this way of coloring isn't always the most exciting, I will say that when I was younger, I always outlined any work I created, and thanks to all that practice, I became really great at lining. And in the art world, lining is very important. We see this all the time in cartoons or comics, where characters are outlined in certain colors, usually black, and this type of exercise can help us. Definitely find the time to play around with your markers, and look at all the different line widths it can make. You'll be surprised. Now that that's colored in, I can go to my palm tree. And yes, I am going to line it with marker, but this time I'm going to add a secret ingredient into our coloring. My markers are water-based. Most markers are nowadays, and because they're water-based, they can be manipulated by varying amounts of water. By adding a bit of water on my brush, I can pull the color from the marker into the white space of my palm tree. I'm not using a lot of water, so my paper is drying fairly quickly, and because of that, I can layer more colors on top. So I'm going to add in some yellow to brighten up my brown in certain areas. Layering colors is probably my favorite part of coloring, It always allows me to access more colors than I thought I had. I'm going to do the same process with the palm tree leaves. Outline in green and add water to pull the color from the marker strokes to the white spaces in my leaves. I'm satisfied with my palm tree, but I want to outline it in a bold color so that it stands out more. Palm trees have practically become synonymous with California now, and I really enjoy looking at them and all their glorious heights. Cool, I like that. Now I'm going to move on to my larger picture of the Sean Diamond Plaza venue area. If you haven't caught on by now, then this may shock you. I'm going to start with outlining with marker, but just the stage and benches this time. I have something special in mind for my music-loving people here. These cool dudes are going to be outlined in crayon from head to toe. While I'm outlining, I wanted to share that the reason I chose the outdoor venue area was because I miss going to see live music. I miss the energy of being surrounded by people who love the same musician or band that I do. I hope we can get back to these types of events very soon. Alright, now that I've outlined my people in crayon, I'm going to erase what pencil lines I can without messing up my crayon. I won't get all of them, but for the most part is what I'm aiming for. With the pencil out of my way, I'm going to use my watercolors now to fill in my people. The best part about this is that the crayon will contain my watercolors and their respective spaces. The oil from the crayon blocks the water from crossing into it. This is a great technique to play around with, especially with a white crayon where hidden messages can be revealed. As I'm painting in my people, you'll notice that there are times when I put too much color and water on my brush and the color's just more overwhelming than I wanted it to be. In this case, you can dab it with a napkin and take out as much color as you want, or you can pick up the color with your brush and dab your brush on the napkin. I tend to pick up the color with my brush, dab it on my napkin, clean my brush, and repeat so that I can continue picking up and moving the color to find the shade I like best. The rest of this cool plaza area, I'm going to do a mix of everything we've done so far. I want to fill in as much color as I can, but I also want to be careful I'm not getting too much water near my black outlines so that they don't smudge too much. Sweet, I like what I have so far, and now the last item I have here is a mask. I'm going to use only watercolors for this one. I'm going to start out with outlining my mask with one of my favorite colors, orange. After my outline, I'm going to use the wet on wet technique to add more colors. The wet on wet technique means that I'm going to be adding only water to my picture first, and then dipping my brush in paint and placing the color where I put the water. You can see that the color just spreads itself, and I can layer it with other colors too. This is a great way to cover space and add layers of color in a cool way. I wanted this mask to have that tie-dyed look, so I definitely added in multiple colors. Masks have become a daily accessory for all of us to remain safe, so I wanted to add one here, just to remind myself that there is hope for a better tomorrow. The last part of this mask is adding the straps and the smile. The wet on wet technique takes a bit longer to dry, so make sure you're giving it enough time before adding a definitive detail like a smile on top of it. We don't want it to smudge. Alright, now that all my chosen memories and hopes of my neighborhood have been colored in, I want to fill in all the white spaces of the background with color. I'm going to create some cool crayon starfish-like designs, just because I'm really hopeful about enjoying the beach this summer, and then I'll split the background between blue and green using my watercolors. As I'm doing this, I just want to say thank you for creating with me today. I hope you know that there are spaces out there for you to find your creativity. Whether it's your neighborhood art center like the Doss Center for the Arts, or a city community-oriented org like Grand Park. As an extra thank you, I've created this coloring sheet based on my walk in downtown Pomona. I hope you have enjoyed all the random coloring tips I've shared and that our activity inspires you to think about how your own neighborhood can support your creativity.